Judy Lee, she's gonna get it pumped and back up. She's gonna bring the fire, ladies and gentlemen. She's an artist that hustles while she is creating a children's book series. She also works as a makeup artist, a florist, and sometimes the Easter Bunny. She particularly enjoys helping people be creative through art and her YouTube channel. You can find her at Judy Lee. Judy? She'll probably tell you. This looks like a typo. Yeah, she's gonna tell you all about this. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, all the energy we have. Please welcome to the stage, Judy Lee.
So, when I meet people for the first time, I like to ask, so what is it that you do? And sometimes I get the response of like, which is this face, obviously. And I feel like a better question might be not so much like, what's your job, but maybe like, what do you want to do? Like, let's say rent is not an issue. Like, don't worry about bills, forget that. If you could do literally anything, that's what I want to know. Tell me about your dream job. And I feel like you get a lot better stories that way. You get to a sense of who they are and what their passions are. And so I kind of like to mix in that question if I get the like disgruntled face. And if you were to ask me, so what's your dream job? I would tell you I'm actually doing it. I'm writing and illustrating children's books. It's what I wanted to do. And I kickstarted my first book last year, and I got it self-published. It's called Monet and the Water Lily Friends, an introduction to art for little kids, preschoolers and up. And I'm working on the second one. And along the way, I found out that I really enjoy helping people be creative, and so I started a YouTube channel where I just upload art tutorials and tell stories. So that's another thing I do. There is another book on the way. It's called Picasso Loves Shapes. And so if you have kids running around, or if you're into art, you are welcome to stalk me on the internet. I'm everywhere. I have a website. Come find me. And so a lot of times when I start talking about what I do and how I kind of followed this path into creating my own dream job, I suppose, I often get the question of like, but how did you get that to happen? Since a lot of times we hear that phrase of like, follow your bliss, like follow your dreams. Like that's a mantra we hear all the time, but I don't think often enough you will hear how that happens really. So the way it worked out for me was I quit my 9-to-5 job, my stable gig, and instead I kind of jumped into a world of a lot of random jobs. That's me in an Easter Bunny suit at Marketplace Mall. If you got a family portrait done with us, that was probably me. You might have sat on my lap. It's cool. And I look back at this moment in time, and it's hilarious. Like, I got bags of carrots, I got wish lists, I got this great foamy sticker. So it's really cute and really fun, but at the same time, for me, like, I look back on that season of my life, and that was like a whole new low. Like, I did not know you can go that low. Like, I have a degree, I went to the University of Illinois. But I think for me, that just proved that I was willing to do anything to get this to work, to get this to happen. Another place you can find me is at the Champagne Fab Lab. Woo, Fab Lab! We have fans, that's great. We are a community space and have lots of great machines like a laser cutter and 3D printers and stuff like that. And if you come by, we'd be happy to show you how that stuff works. And the big takeaway I got from Fab Lab, just from being there as a staffer, is you can literally make anything. It's true. Like, if you just put enough work into it, like, you can make anything. And so I feel like that really developed my problem-solving skills and my curiosity. It just opened up so many doors for me in terms of an artist and a maker. Oh yeah, so a new gig that I got was this New Year's Eve. I was an assistant to a wedding planner, and we met via Craigslist, as all professionals do. Yeah. And when I met Drew, this amazing wedding planner, the first question he asked me was, can you make a balloon drop? And I responded like any human, and I said, yes. So I immediately used my Fab Lab skills, jumped on the internet, watched 2 YouTube videos, and I made that balloon drop happen. It was surprisingly not that hard. YouTube it. It's pretty easy. And so on that job, I learned just how to think really quickly on your toes to, again, make things happen. And more recently, I am now, you can find me at the mall again. There's like this theme happening. And I work as a makeup artist at Bare Minerals, which is just a makeup store, and I would have never selected this for myself. I am not a makeup guru at all, but I think because I'm a painter, they took a shot. They're like, yeah, try it. And I ended up really enjoying this job. Like, it's something I would have, again, never selected, but it's ended up being really, really cool. Mostly because of the people I get to meet, like all the awesome women that sit in my chair and they're forced to spend time with me, and I get into your life, you know, and I'm kind of like your therapist for a moment. Yeah, it's really fun. So I've had a lot of these great gigs, but sometimes I ask this question, like, man, is this hustle worth it? Like, I'm kind of bouncing around. I'm doing a lot of stuff. And there's moments where, really briefly, I'll be like, I kind of just want a 9 to 5. I just want that stability. Health insurance would be nice. But at the end of the day, when I really think about it, I'm reminded of Japanese tea ceremony, as I'm sure as you are too. No, there's a point. Because in Japanese tea ceremony, they really celebrate ordinary things, like serving someone a bowl of tea. They turn it into an art form. They elevate it into an almost a ceremonious thing, just to appreciate that moment you have in life with someone. So with any kind of job I do, whether it's Easter Bunny, makeup store, whatever, I try to look at it kind of like Japanese tea ceremony. It's an opportunity to really value a person, to learn something, to hone a skill. And so I feel like all these things are not any less valuable than me writing children's books, but it's exactly the same. It's still helping me grow as a person. It's still, it's become part of my process as an artist. And so, yeah, so even with a YouTube channel, I feel like I would have never gotten to that point had all these other things kind of didn't click together. And so this is Caden from the Fab Lab camp. He's so cute. And like, I popped this in just to make a point of like, when we were kids, I feel like going from kindergarten to first grade or going from middle school to high school, like you grow so much. But as adults, we kind of feel stagnant sometimes. And I would like to challenge that. I think we're constantly growing, we're constantly changing as people. And so for you, I would want to ask, what's something you'd be willing to sacrifice for? What would you want to build? And who do you want to be? What's your dream job? I'd love to know.